So next we move on to the next circulatory system, that is closed circulatory system. So in this closed circulatory system, we are going to discuss about three circulatory system, circulatory system of fish, amphibians, and mammals. So we start with the fish first. So circulatory system of fish. The heart of the fish has two chambers, that is an atrium and a ventricle. So if plural, in more than one, known as atria. But for fish, we have only one, so known as atrium and a ventricle. So blood that leaves the ventricle is pumped to the gills capillaries to enable gases exchange. Okay, so still remember the gases exchange that occur in the gills in the previous topic. Okay, so the gills capillaries carry blood to the blood vessel that transports oxygenated blood to systemic capillaries. Okay, in the systemic capillaries, oxygen diffuse into the tissues while carbon dioxide diffuse from tissue into the capillaries. The deoxygenated blood is then returned to the heart atrium through the veins. As the blood flows in one direction, the fish circulatory system is known as single circulatory system, or you can make it more specific, single closed, okay, circulatory system. The single closed circulatory system. So let us take a look at the diagram here. Okay, here you can see different indicator for blood. So the red color is oxygenated blood. The what the bright blue, right? Bright blue. Okay, bright blue known as deoxygenated blood, and then the purple color known as mixed blood. So that's mean in this circulatory system of fish, the blood is mixed, oxygenated and deoxygenated blood mixed together. Okay, so for the structure, you can see the heart here. So the heart has two chambers, ventricle and atrium. Okay, and then we have the blood vessels, artery, capillaries, and also veins. Okay, so the first one, what happened is um, blood that leaves ventricles is pumped to the gills capillary to enable gases exchange. So blood will flow or will be pumped from the heart from the ventricle. So ventricle, the blood will flow here in the gills capillaries, and still remember the exchange of gases occur when the water flow and so on, dissolve oxygen enter the gills and so on. So now here in the intermediate of the oxygenated blood and oxygenated blood, so we have the mixed blood. Okay, so that's mean before it become oxygenated blood, it will mix together first. Then after get the oxygen, so the blood now change into oxygenated blood. Right. Okay, this one the oxygenated blood lah. Okay. So in the middle is the mix. So after that, what happened? The gills capillaries carries blood to the blood vessel. Okay, here that transport oxygenated blood to the systemic capillaries. So from here, the now oxygenated blood will flow. Okay, after the gases exchange occur, so the blood get the oxygen, become oxygenated blood. So the blood will flow from the gills capillaries go to the systemic capillaries. Okay, systemic capillaries. Okay, at the systemic capillaries, oxygen diffuse into the tissues while carbon dioxide diffuse from the tissue into the capillaries. So inside here, we have of course, we have the cell here, a lot of cells, right? Systemic because of tissue and cell and so on. So what happened? The oxygen from here, this is oxygen, right? Will diffuse into the cell. Okay, diffuse into the cell or diffuse to the tissues, while at the same time, this is the cell, we produce also CO2. So this CO2 or carbon dioxide will diffuse also to the capillaries here. So that's why in the middle here, we have the mix of the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So here, when the oxygen diffuse into the cells, okay, from this side, okay, so the oxygen diffuse to the cell, so the cell will get oxygen. At the same time, the cell also will produce carbon dioxide, so the carbon dioxide will be diffused into the capillary, okay, and then return back to the heart through the veins. Okay, through the veins back to the heart. Okay, so now we can see that actually the blood will mix at the gills capillaries and the systemic capillaries, but at here at the side, okay, the blood will be oxygenated blood. So the side will be deoxygenated blood. Okay, so that means artery and vein both carry deoxygenated blood in fish. Just artery carry the blood away from the heart. You see there? Artery carry the blood away from the heart, go to the gills capillaries. But for the vein, it will carry back the blood from the systemic capillaries or from the tissues or from the body or from the cell to the heart through the atrium. So as the blood flows only one direction, the blood flows only one direction because from here it flow to this part, these capillaries, and go to the systemic capillaries and go back to the heart. So this is known as single circulatory system or single closed circulatory system because the blood flow inside the blood vessel. So this is for fish. Okay, so you must remember the name of the capillaries, gill capillaries and systemic capillaries. So the gill capillaries actually the process of exchange of gases, taking the dissolved oxygen and so on. But for systemic capillaries is the process of exchange of gases between the capillaries and also the tissue or the cells. Okay, and then the blood will return back uh, to the heart through the vein. Okay, so it's known as single closed circulatory system only in fish, and special is that the fish have gills capillaries. So whenever you see the word gills, means you know that this is the fish circulatory system. Okay.